Better Call Saul poll: who is worse, Jimmy or Chuck? Now that Better Call Saul Season 3 finale is airing and we're getting ready for a long wait until the show returns, fans are thinking more about Jimmy's character as compared to his much-hated brother, Chuck. Which character is worse in terms of morals and ethics? Or are they both misunderstood in their own ways? After you read this article, take the poll at the end and let us know what you think. Chuck has done some pretty unforgivable things to Jimmy. But after last week's episode when fans saw how Jimmy treated Irene, some fans are now thinking that Jimmy has transitioned to being Saul and maybe worse than Chuck. Other fans are saying that no matter what Jimmy has done, it was ultimately caused by Chuck, making Chuck the worst of the two. Let's look at what both characters have done. Chuck blocked Jimmy from being a lawyer at his firm in the first place. He would only be happy if Jimmy stayed in the mailroom, under Chuck's control. And he wouldn't be honest with Jimmy about it in the first place. He hid what he was doing and made it look like it was Howard's decision. Chuck's need to control Jimmy seems to be so extreme that his illness flares up when Jimmy has more autonomy as a lawyer. He gave Jimmy a huge, heart-wrenching speech in Season 1 about how Jimmy wasn't a real lawyer and should never be one. All of this after Jimmy cared for his brother every single day when he was too sick to even leave the house. Chuck also seemed to really not want him or Jimmy to succeed as lawyers even when they left the firm and did whatever he could to mess up their careers. He lied to Jimmy about their mother's final words, possibly because she was talking about Jimmy at the end and not Chuck. And he set Jimmy up, knowing his weaknesses, so he could try to get him permanently disbarred. Finally, now that Howard wants Chuck to leave the firm because of his mental illness, Chuck is refusing and threatening to take down the firm he built, sacrificing everyone's jobs, just to make a point. Jimmy, meanwhile, is a con man and runs many scams, although he says that he's scamming people who deserve it. He tampered with evidence in an attempt to keep Mesa Verde, thinking Chuck wouldn't take the whole thing as seriously as he did. He defecated through the sunroof when he was younger and ended up in jail at one point, with Chuck having to get him out. And in the last episode, we saw him manipulate an elderly lady's friendship so that she would decide to settle early and he could get a cut of the money. Now, ultimately the decision to settle early might have been the right one, so she and her friends could enjoy the money and not wait years and years to get a little more. And Irene's friendships might be reparable. But the way he went about what he did was very hurtful to a woman who was incredibly fragile and only kind to him. So which character do you think is the worst ethically and morally? Who are you siding with now that the season is coming to a close? Or are you siding with anyone? Let us know in the poll and then leave your comments about the two characters below.